Welcome everyone watching us online and everyone here at Britton Marketing and Design Group, and welcome to the Observatory. We're here today to talk about content exploration sessions starting today. So this is our inaugural session. It's kind of our test session. Things will go wrong, perhaps. Things might go right too. So hopefully everything will be okay. But what we're going to talk about is, today specifically, we're going to talk about content strategy versus content marketing. The content exploration series is a 12-part series. It's monthly, so we're going to have one part every month. So the last Wednesday of each month, we are going to have a series that is going to go pretty deep into a topic of content planning, discovery, and so forth. And we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. So my name is Nick. I am a content strategist here at Britton Marketing and Design Group. I am also a native Swede, so if I start speaking in Swedish or something like that, that's because my brain gets mixed up sometimes. So just wanted to preface it with that. So, but today we're going to have a high-level discussion of content marketing, what that is, and kind of content strategy. The following sessions throughout the year will be a little bit more granular and a little bit more in-depth on a specific topic. So we're hoping that these are going to be short, informative, entertaining, fun sessions that will give you some resources, some tools, some tips, and so forth to help you with your content marketing and content strategy. So that is our goal with these sessions. They're going to be somewhere between maybe 15 to 30 minutes of me up here, or Meg or someone else here from Britton talking about a specific topic, and then we'll have a little Q&A at the end of it. So just some notes about some notes for those of you here attending. You have a sketch pad in front of you. One of the things that we really like doing here at Britton is we create a lot of content, and we love repurposing content. We love design. We are a creative design agency, so we love doing all sorts of different things. One of the things that you have here in front of you is a sketch pad that features one of our design features. Every month we release a new desktop wallpaper calendar. This is our calendar for February that we've used as kind of the main opening slide for this sketch pad. We also have links to resources. In here we have a resource page that we've created as well that you can access after the show, which will have this video, this live stream for you to rewatch. It will also have the presentation deck. It will have all the resources that we kind of talk about today here available on that website too. This sketchpad also has the next session's date and the topic and so forth. So just a fun thing to take home with you and use it. We're very pro doodling here, so go ahead and doodle as much as your heart desires. So before we get into it, again, just the content exploration sessions today, content strategy versus content marketing. Last Wednesday each month, we will be live streaming this. So stay tuned for exact dates and everything as well. Okay, so let's begin. Content strategy is not content marketing. Content marketing is not content strategy. Content marketing can be executed without a content strategy, and content strategy can be implemented without content marketing. It's crystal clear, right? But the thing is there is that content strategy and content marketing, they have a symbiotic relationship, but they can also live without each other. So with content strategy, the definition here is from Christina Halverson, who wrote the content strategy for the web book. She defines content strategy as planning for the creation, delivery, and governance of useful, usable content. One thing to note here is the delivery portion. When we start talking a little bit more about the content marketing aspect of it, then we're talking more about the delivery portion. So the content marketing side of things is any marketing that involves the creation and sharing of media and publishing content in order to acquire and retain customers. So it's a little bit more action-oriented than content strategy. So, excuse me. So content strategy, again, we're going to stay with Christina Halverson from Brain Traffic. This is their content strategy quad, and what this visualizes for us is what content strategy is from a strategic standpoint. It talks about people components and content components. The content components deals with creating substantive structure for content. And the people components talk about the workflow and the governance and the processes that you build inside. The content strategy quad was released in 2010, which seems so far away now. It's back in the old days of the internet almost. But the one thing here is that content strategy is surrounding your core strategy that you're trying to implement at that time. And there's many different content strategies that you can have for a specific campaign, a team, an organization, or whatever you want to call it. As a content strategist, you also work with a lot of spreadsheets, many spreadsheets. So let's talk a little bit more about the people components. The people components of content strategy is really about optimizing processes and creating transparencies within organizations and teams and so forth. It's about making it really easy to understand who does what, and who does what when, and who does what where. And that's what content strategy allows you to do. It's about creating a scalable blueprint for whatever process you are trying to audit. And content strategy allows you to do so. For an example, we do a lot of content marketing here at Britton. And for our own content marketing, we have a blog. And with that blog, we have a content production process. This content production process follows 12 detailed steps. So at any time, and this is documented through a flow chart and everything, but what it entails is that we have a very accessible blueprint for how we create content, what that production process looks like. So it is as detailed as starting from the creative brief for the blog, going through the review stage, to the proofing stage, to the final review stage, to the CMS programming and styling stage, to the live review, and so forth. And throughout every one of those little steps in the workflow, we know exactly how much time we should allocate for that specific time. So we need 2 hours for the creative brief. We need 4 hours for the writer to research and write. We need an hour for the live review and so forth. So what this does, it creates, like I said, a scalable blueprint for us in order to quantify everything that we do when it comes to content production. On top of that, it also allows us to really give a definitive answer of how much would it cost if you would have us produce one of your blogs, for instance. So, and then we'll look at the content component. The content component here in content strategy is all about creating substantive structured content. It's about repurposing content. It's about being efficient with content. It's about really making sure that what you are creating can be repurposed, can be used on several different vehicles or media or whatever it might be. And I'm going to give you another example here from our point of view, is that when it comes to creating structured content, look at our back-end system. We have a field in our CMS, in our content management system, called summary copy or summary text. This summary text field might have a restriction of 160 characters. So what happens on the front end when we publish that specific field, for instance, that is part of a blog post? Well, that populates on our blog post overview listing page, 160 characters about that blog. It summarizes what's on there. It also goes on and doubles as the meta description, which is also important from an SEO perspective. It also can be used for a social post on Facebook or any other channel that allows for that character limit. So what we've done is we've created one instance, one field in our CMS that allows us to share that specific, just a single piece of content, into 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways of content. So it really enables you to be efficient. It enables us to really repurpose and share a lot of different content. So let's talk about content strategy. And we're going to talk about something we call content cartography. This is our content strategy and our content marketing process we have. It's our content marketing formula. What it really is, when it comes down to it, is it's a checklist of checklists. It's checklists inception, if you will. It's a way for us to make sure that every piece of content that we touch and share, or whatever we do with it, follows a consistent kind of blueprint, a consistent way, so that it enables us to get the most out of the organic reach that we want to get for any specific thing. So it has a lot to do with being consistent. Consistency is important from our endpoint because it makes it easier for us to spot trends and things when we do our analytics and so forth. So we have our own content marketing formula and content strategy here is we've divided it up into 4 different sections, into aggregation, which is about content discovery, our editorial process, our content creation process, and our content curation process. And if you take a look at the slide here, you can see how many different touch points we have for each one of those sections. And this really enables us, like I said, it enables us to be really consistent with everything that we create, to make sure that we are creating structured content that again is created for humans and search engines and so forth. So as an example, content aggregation, finding and sourcing and discovering content. Everything that you create from a content marketing standpoint is not necessarily original content just for your brand. It's also about sharing content from your industry peers, from your community, and so forth. So from a content aggregation standpoint, we follow something we call a modified VENT approach. The VENT model stands for, is the content you are sharing, is it valuable? Is it engaging? Is it necessary? Is it true? So we have our own model of the VENT approach, so that we make sure that every piece that we share that might not be Britton branded follows those guidelines. When it comes to our editorial process, we already talked a little bit about the production process that we have for content. But when it comes to the editorial process, there are other things that you want to take into consideration as well. Something like publishing dates, publishing times, publishing frequency, and so forth, publishing cadence, if you will. For us, we've done a lot of trial and error and testing and so forth. There was a point of time in our own content marketing here where we published 5 blogs a week. Now we don't publish five blogs a week, but yet we are increasing our organic page views and our reach by scaling down. And we've done so kind of systematically and by the use of A/B testing and so forth, to see where is our sweet spot when it comes to the publishing schedule. So the editorial process that we have there, following that, enables us to be really actionable with our content. So again, if you look at from a content production process standpoint, we know how many hours it takes for us to create one blog. We just kind of discussed that. So think about how many hours we're saving by going from 5 blogs to 3 blogs a week, and that's actionable. That's money. That's resources that we are optimizing. So when it comes to the content creation portion of it, again, there's so many different things that go into our content creation, but we're real big on readability and user experience here. So we get really granular when it comes to our blogs. We have what we do is we create page templates for our blogs that have all these structured content, structured fields, and everything to help guide our writers to really structure their writing from not just a human perspective, but also to appease the search engines and everything. So we have set word counts for each of our blog posts. And we base most of our decision making is based on 2 things. It's secondary industry data, and then our own A/B testing that we've done. But we have a set word count for each one of our blogs. We want to be between 35 and 55 words per sentence. We want to have about 3 sentences per main paragraph. We want to have about 250 to 350 words between each graphical item in our blog. So whether that's an image or a pull quote or a heading or whatever it is. So we're really structuring the content in a way that it breaks it up, makes it easy on the reader. But again, also we're using a lot of readability, best practices, and so forth as well. And then from a curation standpoint, obviously you have to have a native strategy for all the different channels that you want to share your content on. And we do, and we get really granular when it comes to the different channels that we choose to use for our own social media strategies and content marketing strategies. For instance, there's a reason for why we do not use hashtags when we post on brand websites, on brand Facebook pages. Because secondary industry data and our own A/B testing is when you use hashtags on Facebook as a brand, it limits your already very limited Facebook reach. And then on the flip side, when we look at something like Twitter, a channel like Twitter, there's another reason for why we always use, in about 99% of our tweets, we use about 2 hashtags, because again, A/B testing, best practices, secondary data from the industry show that tweets with 2 hashtags have the best engagement, and that's kind of what we always want to make sure that we target, that every little piece that we share on whatever vehicle, whatever channel it is, gets the best organic reach that it can. So that's kind of our mantra, if you will. And then when you look at something like the content marketing side of things, we are more looking at the creation portion of it and the curation portion of content cartography. So we're going to talk a little bit about content marketing here in just a little bit. And one of the things that I've realized as being a content strategist, I've realized that there's there's a lot of friction between content strategy and content marketing. There's a division between the 2 different practices. But what I've realized is that, sure, I might be a content strategist, but a lot of what I do, what I execute, what I plan for, a lot of that stuff is content marketing. It is a symbiotic relationship that we have, and that's okay. That's more than okay. But what I wanted to talk about right now about content marketing is that there is a right way to do content marketing. There's a wrong way to do content marketing. And we're kind of seeing right now the beginning stages of brands really adapting to the new climate that we have in social media marketing and social media usage, which is all about not being interruptive, not being annoying, not interrupting the flow of your customers on their favorite social channels per se. So So there's a big shift from brands moving to a more non-interruptive approach, going from push to being more of a resource and being more purposeful with the content that people create. So we're kind of at the beginning stages of that, and you can already see the brands that are taking more of a non-interruptive approach, how they set themselves above the rest of the people that send you 30 emails a day and so forth. That's not really conducive to human nature to have that many instances of emails come from a specific brand in a day. So this might be a good visual representation of content marketing and its struggles right now, because we are seeing that global change. But what content marketing really is, it is kind of the executive part of content strategy. It's the action part. It's the doing part. It's the in real life conversation. It's the face-to-face engagement of content strategy that content marketing really is. Because it's all about creating good content. It's about executing. It's about having channel-specific strategies and presences. But most of all, it's about A/B testing. It's about usability testing. It's about creating really purposeful CTAs so you can track your content. It's about choosing the right content types to share on your specific channels that you use. It's about harnessing the native features on your different channels and so forth. But it's also about creating content that appeases both the humans and the search engines, the algorithms. In marketing, in advertising, we always talk about form versus function. And when it comes to content marketing and digital marketing in itself, this is kind of the emergence of, you have to take the function into account before you take the form into account in many instances. Because the function of all these different channels and mediums and vehicles that we use in digital marketing, it's driven by algorithms, by search engines, by computers, by data, and so forth. So if you're not creating content that's conducive to those algorithms and whatever, it doesn't really matter how awesome your content is, how great it looks, and so forth. That's why it's so important with content marketing and content strategy to take that into account. And that's something that we really preach here. We have to really know the function of the channel, and then you merge that with the beautiful content that you create to create this good symbiotic relationship that takes your content to a whole nother level. And again, an example of this would be if your brand is on Facebook and you use a lot of hashtags, that can limit your reach because you're not using the channel effectively. Just wanted to give you a couple of again, visual representation of kind of the dichotomy or distinction between content strategy and content marketing. So this is Will. He's an independent guy. He's creative. He's literally connecting dots right now. But what he really is, he's a content strategist because he understands that there are barriers to his life. He doesn't have an education, but he transcends those barriers by going to the library and reading books. And by doing so, he maximizes his own potential. And that's kind of what content strategy is all about. Then we have Chucky, Will's friend, best friend. He's definitely a people person. He is in your face. He could probably sell meatballs to a Swede. But that probably wouldn't be too hard. But what he does, he's a man of action. He can sometimes be forceful and interruptive and maybe annoying, but he's also loyal and he's encouraging when necessary. And we have one more example here, content strategy versus content marketing. We have R2-D2 here from Star Trek, right? sorry, Star Wars. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So he's quiet. He's unassuming. He is literally a keeper of secrets. He has blueprints within him. That's part of who he is. So he has these blueprints, and what he can do is he can literally unlock secrets and blast doors. He can get you the content that you need when you need it in the correct form that you need it. So that's R2, and then we have his friend C3PO here. He can be really annoying, just like content marketing can be if used in a bad way. But C3PO also speaks like a billion languages, which can be really important in content marketing, because when we get to the whole channel-specific social sharing, not using hashtag versus using hashtags, C3PO knows how to do that. So there's some good parts about him, although he might be annoying at times. Another thing that he might be as well is he is a golden god, which maybe some content marketers would title themselves as. And I kid between content marketers and content strategy. Okay, so let's recap. Content strategy, it's about optimizing processes. It's about people. It's about content. It's about finding the best strategies to aggregate, create, curate, and create editorial process that is conducive to your team, your organization, your division, whatever it is. And then content marketing is more about the sharing aspect, the engaging aspect, the execution part. So what's next? The next session is on February 24th. And like I said, today it was a little bit more of a high-level content strategy versus content marketing discussion. The next one will be about content discovery. We will have a lot of cool tools and resources that will hopefully help you find the content a little bit easier. We like to say that the content finds us now instead of us going out trying to find it. So we'll get to all those good things with the next issue of the next session of the content exploration session. So I know we're very passionate about content marketing here. We live it, and I get carried away with it, and I hope I stayed pretty much on time. I think so. I did pretty good on that part of it. So I could probably talk about it for another couple of hours, but that's it for the presentation portion of it. Now, if you have any questions, I would love to at least try to answer anything that you might have. So you to get to our little landing resource page online, we have a short code. For those of you who are here, you can go ahead and either scan the QR code or use the little URL shortener that's available on page 2, I do believe. If you want to go to brittonmdg.com/content-exploration, I think that's the URL. Actually, the URL is brittonmdg.com/content-vs-content-marketing. So it's we're going to go ahead and share this on all of our channels sometimes this afternoon. So the easiest way to access the resource page would be to follow us on Twitter at BrittonMDG, or perhaps on Google+, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, or on We Heart It, or on Pinterest, or on anywhere else we might be. More, yes?
Can I ask a super technical question? You said a couple of times that using hashtags on Facebook is a bad practice. Can you explain why?
Okay, so using hashtags on Facebook, why would it be a bad thing? Okay, I can't necessarily answer the technical part of it, the background of why, but the news feed is driven by an algorithm. It used to be called EdgeRank, the algorithm. That determines what is seen from anyone that's accessing their Facebook account. Now we know how much Facebook wants to limit the organic reach of brands. I mean, it's almost non-existent to this day and age. So through all the secondary data that's out there, and what we've derived is that if you use hashtags on Facebook, they will clamp down on that organic reach even more. So again, it's the reasoning behind that is that brands were using all these hashtags just like they were on Instagram. You post a little thing with 100 hashtags, and it can be seen as spammy. And what Facebook really wants to do is they want to serve up content that you think is relevant to you, things that are of a resource. So the algorithm is automatically looking for instances of hashtags to see if someone is trying to game their algorithm to get a broader reach than they should, because whatever they might be saying in their post might not be applicable to all the hashtags that they used. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Any more questions? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're excited about it. This was the first one. Like I said, we're going to have this every last Wednesday, the last Wednesday of each month. Next one is February 24th. So check us out then too. BrittonMDG.com, and check out BrittonMDG.com /blog to get into Hypergraphia, which is our Britton blog as well, where we have a lot of resources and information about things like this as well. So thank you very much.